Am I the idiot for telling my girlfriend how I actually met my friends? My roommate, 22F, who I've been sharing an apartment with for the past 6 months, approached me a few weeks ago to discuss the possibility of hosting an orgy. I can imagine most people in my situation being surprised or disturbed or whatever if their roommate asked for permission to allow random people to have sex in their personal space. I was not too surprised or disturbed because 6 months has been more than enough time for me to realize that my roommate is an extremely sexual person and she's not shy about showing it. I'm a virgin. My roommate is aware of that, and even though from time to time she teases me about it, she's never made me feel bad and always seemed proud of me for being so chilled about sex. Back to the orgy. My roommate asked if it was okay if the orgy could happen at our apartment. She said 7 people were expected to participate, all friends, and she would be the 8th. She answered all of my questions regarding the logistics and promised to leave the place spotless when it was over. To be honest, I didn't really care as long as no one did anything in my room or touched my gaming console. My roommate was over the moon when I said yes. I arranged to sleep at my mom's house on the night of the orgy to avoid any awkwardness, which made my roommate feel somewhat guilty for kicking me out. But I encouraged her to focus on the fricking because I'll be focusing on my mom's good cooking lol. A few days after that conversation, my roommate asked if I was interested in taking part in the orgy. I said if this was about me staying at my mom's house for one night, she really shouldn't feel bad. My roommate said it's not only about that but also about hospitality. She said the group agreed that I was more than welcome to join if I wanted. I laughed and said thanks but no thanks. My roommate advised me to think about it and said I should keep in mind that a virgin guy would be very hot for the group and I would most likely receive special treatment. She also added that before I made a final decision, I should forget what I've seen in movies or porn and therefore should not be expecting everyone to have 10 bodies. I said I would think about it. The orgy is happening tonight. I eventually agreed to participate. It wasn't a quick decision. I did have time. It's been weeks of talking. I've been added to the orgy group chat. Everyone in the group has been welcoming and open to answering my questions. A big topic of discussion was boundaries. At one point it felt like I was doing and asking me anything because everyone was asking me what I was comfortable/uncomfortable with. Not gonna lie, I'm getting more and more overwhelmed and I'm beginning to stress out. As helpful and supportive as my roommate and the others have been, I need to ask all of you to weigh in. A 22-year-old virgin in an orgy, should I be excited or should I be nervous? Update. My original post was long enough, so to spare all of you from reading another novel, I'm just gonna list the key information. It's still long though. Sorry. It's close to midnight on my side of the planet. What a night. By the time I've added this update, the orgy would have been over in less than 2 hours. I helped my roommate set up the space in the apartment we were all gonna use for sex. She made sure there were condoms, scented candles, lube, towels, water, etc. I hardly recognized the place when she was done with it. My roommate was running me through the process one-on-one for the final time and once again made sure I understood that I should never feel pressured to perform anything or to please anyone regardless of prior agreements. The group arrived sometime afterwards. All of us socialized at first. I learned a lot about the group. Everyone was friendly and interested to know how I was feeling. I realized very quickly that I was attracted to one of the girls in the group more than the others, but none of them were bad looking. Once the socializing was out of the way, my roommate explained what the rules and the safe words were before formally introducing me to the group and reminding everyone that I skipped my mom's cooking to be there, so I needed to be treated with extra care and appreciation lol. So much was discussed before anything sexual happened. Most of it was information everyone already knew based on previous discussions. But some of it was new to me, like the conversational sex option, which basically meant you could have a sexual conversation with one or more people who had no desire to have sex yet, but don't mind saying filthy things to one another to get them in the mood. Boundaries were discussed. Questions were answered. Challenges in the past were addressed. It was a proper meeting. My legs were freaking shaking when that meeting eventually came to an end. 11. My roommate gave everyone the green light to proceed and she wasted no time taking me under wing. My roommate and I were sitting on the couch while the others were beginning to touch and kiss one another. She was holding my hand and telling me how nice I smelled. I said thank you and returned the compliment. We continued complimenting each other until we were both comfortable enough to kiss. I can't tell you how long we kissed, but when my roommate and I were no longer locking lips, I noticed some of the other people were wearing a lot less. This might sound weird, but seeing naked bodies on full display like that became uncomfortable and overwhelming. I told my roommate how I was feeling and she asked me to follow her to the balcony to get some fresh air and for a change of scenery. During my time on the balcony, the girl who I was most attracted to in the group, before I kissed my roommate at least, decided to join my roommate and I on the balcony and find out how I was doing. Her hair was shorter than mine, but it was hot. The three of us talked for a few minutes before I said I was willing to continue. Short-haired girl performed oral on me when I finally managed to get hard. I never came. My nerves got the best of me. I apologized to the group and said I would feel much better if I could go to my room because I'm struggling to relax. I made it clear to all of them that they did nothing wrong, but it just wasn't for me, at least not for now. Everyone was really understanding and wished me good night. I've been in my room ever since. The apartment is quiet now. I have no idea how many people have gone home and how many are sleeping over, but I'm sure I'll find out in the morning. Not the best ending, but I have no regrets. I'm sure I'll lose my virginity when the time comes. Anyway, the end. I'm going to try and get some sleep now. Thank you all for the advice. Now for a few comments before the first update. Just to let you know, there is one more update after this one. Comment 1. It's an experience, and a damn unique one at that. Anxiety is to be expected, but people like this tend to know the rules and be super respectful about other people's boundaries. So if nothing else, just sit back, have a drink, a talk, and see where it gets you. Also, you don't have to go all the way, just the fact that you stepped out of your comfort zone to do this is a huge win, and by gods, keep us updated. Comment 2. I don't personally think it sounds like you're really ready for this, but other comments seem to disagree. If it's something you're feeling really stressed and nervous about, I'd rather back out and go enjoy your mom's cooking instead. I think you should really consider if this is something you might regret later on. If you do participate, just remember you can back out at any moment if you change your mind. I'll admit I'm not the most sex-positive person in this subreddit, but perhaps my slightly different perspective is something of interest to someone. Now for the update. A couple of nights ago my GF was supposed to meet my friends. I've been delaying the process for months because I knew I had to have an uncomfortable conversation first. I met my friends at an orgy. My roommate at the time asked for my permission to host an orgy at our flat. I said yes, as long as my room and my belongings were off limits, and the flat was cleaned properly afterwards. My plan was to spend the night at my mom's house and be out of everyone's way during the orgy, but my roommate encouraged me to stay and participate. I was still a virgin back then. The thought of sleeping with one person was overwhelming enough, let alone a group of people. However, my roommate eventually convinced me to take part. I was added to a group chat with all the people who were gonna be involved in the orgy. All of them made me feel really comfortable. That being said, when the orgy finally happened, I was unable to have sex with anyone. My anxiety won. Everyone was understanding though. Life went on. My roommate became my ex-roommate after a few months, but we never stopped being friends. The connections I made with the people at the orgy also developed into friendships. We're still friends now. My GF didn't know my history with them until earlier this week when I finally had the courage to explain the orgy story. She was shocked and disturbed and asked if I lied to her about being a virgin when we met. I said no. She struggled to believe that a virgin guy would walk away from an orgy with his virginity still intact. My GF made it clear that she was no longer interested in meeting my friends. She said she didn't know how she could be in a relationship with someone who was friends with people who shared him. I asked my GF if she was breaking up with me, and she said she was gonna need some time to decide what to do. Last night she decided. Our relationship is over. Now for a few comments before the second update. Comment 1. The real orgy is the friends we made along the way. Comment 2. We have to just put it up as individual preference. If a guy/girl are uncomfortable with partners with a sexual history, then that's their preference and choice. Move on and find someone who shares your open mind. Some people think it's related to lack of maturity, but I personally believe that it's based on individual morals. Nobody is at fault, it's just that your morals didn't align. Now for the update. My mom and dad invited me to have dinner at their house a few nights ago. I was planning to inform them about my breakup during dinner, but I realized it was too late when I showed up at the house. My parents were already informed. The dinner invitation was a smokescreen to confront me about the details. My ex-GF apparently broke the news to my mom and dad soon after our relationship came to an end. My parents knew about the orgy, the friends I made at the orgy, and why my GF no longer wanted anything to do with me. It was an ambush. Or an intervention. I don't know. But it was awkward. My mom wanted me to make her believe that my ex-GF lied and that I never participated in group sex. I confirmed what my ex-GF said was true. My mom looked disturbed and asked if I got tested. I assured her that I was clean and that it's almost been a year since the orgy. My dad looked equally disturbed and asked if I was really friends with people who openly shared their bodies like that. I said yes and described them as good friends. I even told my dad that one of my friends who openly shared her body also openly shared her homemade lasagna that my dad enjoyed eating when he was sick. I asked my mom if she remembered the DJ with the tattoos that stepped in at the last minute at my sister's wedding because the original DJ dropped out. My mom said yes. I asked my mom if she remembered that DJ playing some of her favorite golden oldies like Flashdance, What a Feeling, and Stand By Me. My mom said yes. I asked my mom if she could guess how it came to be that I knew that DJ. My mom said, "Oh. I told my parents not to worry about me and advised them to avoid communicating with my ex-GF because whatever was happening between us was between us." Towards the end of the dinner, my mom and dad knew a lot more about my orgy friends and seemed less uncomfortable. I think once the shock of me being involved in an orgy fades away, my parents might be keen to meet my friends one day. Hopefully that day never comes though. Comment 1. No offense, but I'm glad you're out of that relationship. Someone that goes sharing your private business to your parents about your personal adult matters isn't someone to be building a life with. Comment 2. Not sure I like how your parents thought it was any of their business, but it sounds like a pretty decent outcome all things considered. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.